Hello everyone and welcome to Pantheon News. We're back with another recap for the last month, everything that we thought was more or less significant to kind of announce. It was a bit of a slow month in terms of like dramatic news, but I was able to find a few very interesting topics, things that I think that either will get your creative juices going or will start to make you think more about the future in terms of producing your own webtoon or producing your own project. So the three stories we're going to be looking at today is the first one is about a comic contest that's coming up. It's very late notice and I probably should have done like an announcement for it earlier when I first saw it that it was launched, but I just didn't have the time. But I still want to give it a spotlight and hopefully bring interest to all of the people that are interested in pursuing contests other than the ones that Webtoons brings around. Taylor, hello. Hi bestie. So glad you could jump onto the stream. Our second one is a little bit of a Webtoon update. So it's about a new feature that they're introducing, which I personally have not a lot of thoughts on, but a very specific thought. We'll dive into that during that part. And then the last one is from a fellow creator. They are a webcomic maker as well as a YouTuber, and they have a project that they are working on, and they've been giving us a lot of previews and whatnot, and I found it very cool to see that. So I was like, there's a little bit of, I wanted to shout them out for the hard work that they're doing, but I also wanted to bring attention to a possible, let me rephrase. I wanted to bring attention to the fact that sometimes we have our mind set on one thing in particular, whether it be a webtoon or whether it be a novel or whatever other creative form that we're trying to pursue. And so we kind of lock ourselves into one box. And so during that part of the stream, we're going to talk about how this creator, I think, is doing something pretty interesting that I don't feel a lot of people do. Probably because it's a lot of hard work, but then again, so is Webtoons, so is any creative endeavor. So we will be diving into all of that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to add in this little bit disclaimer just so that people don't take our word for gospel. Although we do research everything that we present on this channel, it still does boil down to the fact that we are human, we're not perfect, and we don't have all of the details. So if we ever talk on something whether it be from Webtoons or whether it be from another source, that's only one perspective of it, and we're more or less giving our opinion based off of the research that we have at the time. So just keep that in mind. Let's be a little balanced with our viewpoints. So our first story of the day is the Words and Picture Comic Jam. It is a comic contest that is actually hosted by I really don't know much about them. I probably should do some more research, but their YouTube name, Instagram name, all of their social media stuff is webcomics_hub. I've linked their information down below. They actually produce a lot of really interesting content, whether it be news-based or whether it be just things going on in the community, things that they want to bring people's attention to. And I saw that they are actually holding a contest, and the contest is actually pretty cool. So just to kind of give a overall view, that's what's on the screen right now, is kind of the main bullet points from the article. In the link below, you can go to the actual page and read in detail what it's really about. So it's going to be hosted by Nin from Webcomics, as I was telling, the Webcomics Hub. And from all the content I've seen of his, he's super cool. I really like his perspective on a lot of things. I think it's interesting that he's holding his own comic contest, which is something that I think is something that not only I want to do, but something that's good for the community in general. It kind of helps to create more opportunity. Just overview what's going on with this contest. So the sponsor of this contest is BAM Comics. And so they're a new novel comic platform made for a more open and free comic space. So, they're kind of like another competitor for Webtoons. And so the theme for this contest, so BAM Comics and Nin are working together and they've come up with this theme for the contest, which is Halloween, which, a lot of people I think would be definitely interested in. One, Halloween is quickly approaching and a lot of people are really into horror, thriller, that sort of vibe. So for all of you crazy kids out there who just want to, run wild with your crazy stories, go ahead and enter this contest before time disappears. I'm pretty excited about it. I personally would have entered it if my life was not so chaotic. I would have made something that would have been really fun just to enter, because I feel like there's a bit of camaraderie when you're entering a contest. You can get to know more people and you can talk about your entries together. So the cool thing about this is not only is it, being hosted by I'm air quoting, smaller creator, but it has actual prizes, which is super cool. So the first place prize is $250, second is $150, and third is $100. So that's a total of $500 that they're giving away. That's really nice. I mean, isn't a lot of money? Not necessarily. But the fact is, it's more you're getting money for doing something that you really enjoy. So why wouldn't you enter it? I personally feel that you gain so much from entering the contest, more than just winning the money. So it says that there's going to be metrics that are also attached to this, which would be, it's going to be how well you use the theme, writing, art, paneling, and lettering. And then there's also going to be a portion of audience sort of participation, I guess, which is nice because I do think it's important to keep in mind that the audience does play a part in the overall perception of what makes a comic popular. Without the fans, where would it be? You know what I'm saying? 1 second, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. Also, if you don't have a drink, please go grab yourself a snack, a drink, and chill out with me. Normally, I'm on something super energetic, but today I was just I feel like it's a low-key stream sort of day, so we're just gonna roll with this, if you get my vibe. So moving on, the rules, I'm not gonna go into super huge detail about this, but it just shows that from their page, they put in a lot of time and dedication to this. They have a rules section, they have a submissions guideline, formatting and all of that stuff. So the only thing that's bad about me bringing this to y'all's attention right now is the fact that it's due in 2 days. So it's due in 2 days, 6 minutes. So that's not a lot of time, but you could definitely jam out a story in 2 days. There is a minimum. It's a minimum of 3 pages or 25 panels, if it's scrolling format. So, that is quite a hefty amount of work, but you could enter and I think it would be super fun. So, why did I pick this and why do I think it's so awesome? Well, it's not just for the fact that it's focusing on the fact of a creator growing or not a creator growing, of a small creator. It's not just supporting a small creator. It's more about the growth opportunities that it offers the people who enter. So you can think about it in terms of the opportunities. With someone doing this, if the community supports it, then this expands others to kind of put in more effort to host or do events like this. And not just Webtoons, but I shouldn't say webtoons, but not just from a smaller perspective, but also from a creator perspective. So like other creators might host events. I think back to like, was it 2021, 2022 when Rochella did her like video event where she, you know, asked people to make trailers to submit, and like so many people showed up, so many people were so excited for that. And so like the more that we can foster and really put in effort to join events like this, the more that other creators will want to do this, which means more exposure for your comic, more exposure for you as a creator, more exposure in general for like the growth of the community. Like, I feel like sometimes in the community things kind of like are starting to plateau, where like the ceiling is right there and it's getting harder and harder for like I feel like things are starting to get a little limited. And with that being the case, I think supporting events like this helps people to realize that there is interest and that we can, you know, do more than just wait for Webtoons to announce their next contest. So growing as a creator, I think one thing that a contest-based sort of event kind of helps creators is it really forces people to tell stories in a different way than from what they normally would do. We think back to the Webtoon contest that they had recently where it was like only one episode, which is insane. Like, let's be honest, how crazy is it to tell a story in like one episode, especially a webtoon? You have so much to set up, so many things to try and weave your way through so that you can tell a story that's compelling and interesting. So it really helps like the creative juices. It helps us to really get out of our own headspace and focus on developing a story in a way that's going to be way more beneficial than it would be just us sitting in our like office or in our bedroom or wherever we produce our comic, because doing this kind of balances out us as writers, artists, and whatnot, because it kind of helps us to kind of see like what we need to work on. So like with the action contest that Webtoons had recently, it really probably, especially for me, it made me realize like I like to draw very stagnant, very, you know, stiff illustrations. Like I'm used to just doing portraits, so anything with the body is kind of like, oh, there needs to be movement to convey this action correctly, like in the illustration. So it just makes me feel like we have to realize that there's more involved than just being stuck in our own bubble. Like to grow, we have to experiment some. Which, you know, some people don't, I guess. Some people can kind of just like wing it and then they're good, you know what I'm saying? But I think overall, it's really beneficial to enter small contests like this. And then the last thing is, I think it's the perfect place to network. Even if you don't enter, being around or being involved with the event, you can actually make a lot of cool friends. I know every event, I always try and find comics that I like, and if I really like them, like I might slide into someone's DMs and be like, hey, really enjoyed your comic or whatever, you know, just say something, leave a comment, give a follow, that sort of thing. But in order to really network, you have to talk to them, so don't be afraid to like shoot somebody a message like, hey, loving your comic, or hey, enjoyed, you know, your art, whatever you want to say. And who knows, that person could end up being a potential friend, someone who can either help you or someone who can hype you up for your future projects. I definitely love, you know, getting a bunch of support from people who not only support like my own endeavors, but they're also really honest with me about what I'm working on. So like if they think it's trash, they're like, this is trash. Not really, don't call people stuff trash unless they say it's okay. So that's pretty much it for this topic. If y'all have any thoughts or any thing that you want to say about you know, contest, or you know, maybe you have ideas of contests that you think would be cool, you know, you can definitely like shoot them out in the chat right now. We can talk about it a little bit. Or if you have thoughts about this contest, I know it's like super last minute to kind of be like, oh yeah, let's hype up this contest, and there's only 2 days. But I will say, if you feel the need to, throw up something on your social media about it, like, an Instagram story or a Twitter message, just so that more people are aware of the contest. It's nothing like having coffee in the evening. So, before I guess I move completely on to the next story, I will say this. I do think, like, it's important to at least kind of see what's going on a weekly basis within the Webtoon community, just so that you can kind of have an idea of what's going on, because maybe you're interested in entering this contest now and like you had no idea about it until you watched this stream. And so I would just say, kind of just every once in a while look beyond Webtoons to see if there's anything else going on. Like, look at Tapas, look at Global Comics, look at Webcomics Hub, and definitely come back and look here, because I definitely want to host a contest in the future. I'll probably do something small just to like test the waters to see like if anyone is even interested, but we'll go from there. Taylor said, you may have said it already. Can you use content you previously made for Webtoons since it's a close deadline? That might be helpful for some creators. So I don't see anything like the link to all of their rules and everything. I don't see anything in there that says like it needs to be something new. It just says it must be related to the theme. Like, I'm reading, so give me 1 second. Yeah, I don't see anything that says like this must be, brand new guidelines. So the only thing that I see that would be hindering, I guess, is if you're telling like a long form story or something like that, and it doesn't have that minimum. So, where is it? There's a spot. Okay, it says for a page, it says your comic must be related to the theme. For a page format comic, it should be a maximum of 3 pages long. For a scroll comic, it should be a maximum of 25 panels long. Your comic must adhere to the size restrictions in the image below. So it seems like it's really just more so focused on it just being within those dimension specifics. So I didn't see anything. I would say if you're interested in submitting, just submit it. And if it gets rejected, it's super last minute. It's only 2 days before. So you did the best you could. All right, on to our next story. So this is all about the fact that Webtoons has updated. They've actually given us an update on something. There's a new feature. So the feature thing seems, I don't know, like, I'm happy that there's a new feature, and I hope that it works out and that the more people use it, the more people will be interested in it. I can see the idea behind it. Like, maybe somebody was interested in your thumbnail, but they clicked on it and then they didn't necessarily open it or something like that. Like, or they saw the thumbnail, thought it was interesting, and scrolled past. So maybe this is kind of to get those people who would scroll past to kind of like look at it briefly and get that preview. So what they're calling it is a series preview. And so the function is kind of split up into two different aspects, more or less. So I'm just gonna read from the notice board exactly what it says it is. It says the series preview is a new feature that gives users, so I'm guessing Canvas creators, or not users, readers. So I'm gonna start over. Series preview is a new feature that gives users or readers the opportunity to get a sneak peek of the series. If the story suits their taste, users can continue their journey and read through to the end of the first episode. So, from what I understand, this function is already in complete effect, and I've been on Webtoons and I haven't like seen the preview function, so maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe I'm just like super dumb. That could be definitely a possibility, but I'm not getting it at all. Like, I don't understand why this, of all features, would come about. Let me hear from you guys. What do y'all think? Do y'all think, like, this feature, this function is going to be helpful in getting more readers? I can see the concept. I can see the idea behind it. But I'm not sure how useful it is. like I'm just being honest. I like the fact that there's a new feature, but I'm kind of one of the people that's like, I'm gonna read something or I'm not going to read it. Like a preview, like, here's the thing, if I saw a series that I was interested in, I probably wouldn't read the preview. I would just click on the series and read it, and then if I didn't like it, leave. So I'm just like, I'm not sure, like, I'm not that type of reader. So I'm like, maybe this is like if somebody wanted a synopsis or whatever. But I'm just kind of like, you use, like Webtoons is so, like you're there, and my thing of it is, okay, so I kind of get like synopsis for books, sort of, because like you don't have access to the story completely. You can't just like take the book home from Barnes and Noble or something, so you're like, let me read the synopsis, see if I'll be into this book. But with Webtoons, it's like you have generally access to at least one episode. Like, even if a story's on Daily Pass, you have access to that first episode. If you're interested, you'll read it and then you'll move on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, what? Okay, so Taylor said, wait, how does this work? Like, the previews that pop up on Netflix? I don't fully get it. So we could try and give it a little test and see. Let me end the slideshow and let's go to Webtoons. Ignore that. Webtoons. And I think this is only on Canvas. It could be on Originals. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but you know. Oh, like I do every time I get on this and I see like the full views, I always like think these look so good. Okay, so let's see. No, nothing is happening. Where's the preview? Like, this is what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know if I'm the problem. Like, is it me? Do I not, like, I feel like my mouse should go here and then like a preview should pop up. No? Like, clearly I'm the problem, right? It's me. I just don't get this. Like, this is the series that they're using. So I'm like, nothing's happening. So maybe this function is not in effect yet. I don't understand how it would even work, to be honest. Like, okay, now that I'm thinking about it and I'm on the app, I'm kind of like, I could totally see if you're on this and then you click on this because you don't want to click on it so you lose where you are. And then it like pops up and then you scroll through and read it. I think that could be really useful. And then so like you don't actually have to click on it, then like it saves you a few clicks. So like if I wanted to read this series, I would have to click on it. I would have to scroll down, go to the first page, click on that. So that's 2 clicks and I'm scrolling. Then I'd have to still click on episode 1. So that's 3 clicks that I would have to do. Whereas with this, if the preview would just pop up, I could read it, determine if I won't like it. Then if I don't like it, I would just move the mouse off and keep scrolling. Right? Right. Right? Like, I'm so confused by this. Like, I feel like the preview will pop up here. No? Okay, I'm gonna go back to the slideshow briefly, but like, I feel like that does make a little sense, like if the preview does pop up in like the search, so that way you don't have to stop your search more or less. But it's still not fully clicking for me. I'm like, let me see if there was a date attached to this. Oh no. Oh my good grief. Like, this copyright thing is killing me. Why am I getting so many ads? Like, every time I turn around, there's an ad on this. I'm not liking this at all. Oh. So, let's see. There's no date on this. It says this feature is only available for scrolling series on the Webtoon app. Oh, you've got to be on the app. Well, clearly I like completely missed that. So let me see on my phone real quick. Just because like we're talking about this, I'm like maybe, and y'all can test it on y'all's phone too. Let me know if it's working on that or not. Let's see. Although I don't know how the preview would work on your phone. Like you can't just like hover. You know what I mean? So it's not working on my phone either. Oh, there is a oh, okay. I see it on the phone now. So like there is a preview button. So like when you click on the series, it takes you to the episodes and then you click on preview and then you can read the episode. And then I guess it's only part of the episode because it's like continue to read the prologue part 1. And so like that's not terrible. I don't know how I feel about it because I'm just like, why don't I just read episode 1? So like it kind of makes less sense to me now. But I guess, I don't know. I guess time will tell how useful it is. Maybe it sounds useful to y'all. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, like, if you're watching this in the future and the stream has ended, please help me to understand why this function is useful. Because yeah. So Taylor said, I don't see the difference between that and just clicking the first episode, but okay. Listen, we are on the same, like, we're a part of the same train because I feel that way too. I'm just like, I don't get it. I might as well just read the first episode. And if I get to like a part where I'm not enjoying the episode, I'll just stop. Right? Like I'm not understanding the preview function. Like, it makes so much sense for the desktop version, though, to have, like, that preview pop-up function. Like, that would be super smart. It's probably a lot of coding and a lot of, like, maintenance for something like that, but I feel like that's the only way that the preview makes sense. Like, we need an executive in this to tell us what's up. Like, I need the tea, I need the information on why y'all thought this, of all features to add, would be the one to, like, go forward with. Okay, I'm gonna jump off of that. So, why I think that this is possibly beneficial, and please ignore the J down there. That was an accident. I was generally I give you guys 3 reasons why, and I was trying to think of reasons why I thought this was useful, and I could only come up with 2, and I was like, I'm gonna think of a third one later and come back and add it. So the third one is J. So I'll just say, it is what it is. I forgot. That's like a terrible mistake. Anyway, my first thing was that although they're rolling out, different functions, different features very slowly. Like, and I do mean slowly. At least they're doing something. Sometimes I'm just like, Webtoons, you're not doing anything. Like, I don't really necessarily care because at the end of the day, like their main thing is they're like, okay, we're hosting your comic for you. That in of itself is a lot of work. It costs them probably a decent amount of money. I don't know how that actually works for real, for real. I just assume everything costs money. But I'm just like, it's something that you don't have to spend out of pocket to host yourself. So all in all, that's great. But I will say, like, making improvements is just a part of good business. Like, if your clientele is asking for more, asking for, like, additional functions and features, like, you should maybe roll out one a year, one every other year, something. So at least I did give people a new feature that they would be into, which makes me kind of wonder, like, if you posted on Canvas or you are posting on Canvas, like, what features would you want? Like, what do you think would help improve the reading experience or improve, like, what could Webtoons do to make Canvas better would be, like, the question. So I guess with that being said, I would say take advantage of the whatever adjustments that they give us. Because if they do make an adjustment and then people don't use it, it's kind of like, well, we're adding stuff and you're not using it. So that's the one downfall of getting a feature or an adjustment that you don't care about, because it doesn't have any benefit to you, so why would you use it? Although with this feature y'all couldn't see it, but if you use your phone, it seems to be like something probably automatically programmed in or something that is automatically being used where you don't have to do anything. This is just something that Webtoons added in order to, kind of increase the reader's experience. So, moving on past this, were there any thoughts on this topic? Did y'all have anything that y'all wanted to say or things that you thought would be really interesting in terms of, like, again, what you think Webtoons could do? If you don't have anything to say now, you can always drop me a comment in the future about this. I definitely can't necessarily think of any features in particular that I feel would really enhance the reading experience, besides like giving people the ability to add music to episodes, giving people the ability to fast pass, have creators kind of start their own economic system. Like maybe Webtoons, you could be like, okay, we'll do 70% for us and 30% for you. That's like more. That's more than you're getting now for posting on Webtoons. Like something I think would be really good in order to like really make that ecosystem blossom. Like the more incentives you can give to people to post on Canvas, the better. And since Webtoons, I think we talked about this a few streams ago, if Webtoons kind of has a monopoly, more or less, right now, in my opinion. And I feel like if they don't capitalize more, someone's going to come in, look at Webtoons' business model, and just destroy them. They will decimate them entirely. All right, so our third and final story of the day, Bing Bon's Prison Palace. I love the little animatic, the character. Like, I think it's so cute. I really adore it. Can't wait to make fan art for this. So, Bing Bon's Prison Palace is a visual novel that Chris Mason, he is a fellow YouTuber, fellow comic creator. He is doing a project, and to the right, or I guess, would it be the left for y'all? I'm going to keep saying the right. So to the right, you could see like a little glimpse of what his project will look like when it's released. And what I found really interesting about this is, well, it's a number of things, but even though he's in pre-production right now, he's still throwing out a lot of really interesting stuff for people to be able to see, for people to be able to like get a grasp on and see like what he's doing behind the scenes, what's coming to life. And then like he has like these little shorts that he's talking about where he's like explaining how the game is going to work and all of that. And I thought it was really cool. So from what I've ascertained, more or less, is that the main characters or the heroes or whatever you want to call them, they're trapped in this prison. And that like little adorable icon we saw earlier, his name is Bing Bong, and he is the warden of the prison, and he's trying to help them escape. So he's put a ton of marketing into this, like, you know, doing like character posters, doing like character sheets. He's just put in a lot of work for this. Like there is tons and tons and tons and tons of branding for the game, tons and tons and tons of cool images to look at. And I just felt like that, not only do I want to support this creator, but I also want to bring attention to the fact that they're putting in some work for this. And like, to me, the visual novel aspect looks really high quality. Like the background in this one image looks really good. Like the character looks cool. I think if you watch the video, it looks like they might blink and stuff and whatnot. And then he said that, you know, based on the actions that you pick and stuff, the characters will respond in certain ways. So you'll be able to see like their expressions and reactions to certain things that are said. So I felt like all of that, one, is super cool, super inclusive. Like, not inclusive, super, like, it just takes the cake. Let's just say that. Like, I'm very, very, very impressed. And we'll get into why I think, like, it's really beneficial for us. But I just want to, like, gush a little more. And I want to show you guys, like, exactly some of the images that he's posting on his social media. So let me pull up Instagram. Oh, and this is Webcomics Hub. I was looking at their page earlier. I was really, just, stalking them more or less. Because I'm, like, obsessed with them. And so this is, like, their little avatar over here. Super cool. Love the aesthetic. Love the drawing. But anyway, let's go to Chris's page. So, search. We're going up. There he is. So this is Chris, and so there, right here, this little guy right here, is the warden of the prison. He is adorable. I feel like it's going to be a very, like, Madoka situation, where it's like Cube is super adorable, and then he ends up being, spoiler alert, the villain of the story. I paused there so that you could turn it off. But, like, let's look at this. Like, look at this. Like, these are some high quality images. Like, they look so good. And, like, look at the detail of this stuff. It's very cool. And then you have, like, the character sheets here. Like he has a lot, like the branding, the logos, like all of this is super cool. More character sheets. And then like here are the posters I was talking about, just to kind of like show you guys a little bit more of like how good I think the marketing and branding is. Taylor said we love a marketing king. Yes. Snap, 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 snap. Like, it looks so, so good. And then, like, I feel like all of the characters have, like, very, like, even though these are, like, portraits to me, like, they're very dynamic and really reveal a lot of the personality. Like, I feel like we could do, like, a little bit of a case study on this and be like, this is how you market for your stuff before it comes out. Like, even if it's a year or 6 months later, like, go ahead and give the people something to celebrate. Give them something to enjoy. I don't know if I have, like, a favorite character. Like, let me see. Okay. Just for funsies here. I want to say it's either between this character or this guy with the tongue. Like, they're so good. And I love that he gives like these little details about like, oh, it's a failed musician, or like just a little bit. It's the little things, like the little things to get people excited for. Let's see. Oh, Chris is here. Hi, Chris. Yes, you like came at the perfect time, to be honest. Like, I'm over here like gushing about your series. So excited to have you on the stream. Everybody say hello to Chris. Oh man, I just want to say, Chris, I've been stalking this project for a little while, and I just like, I'm fully invested. And okay, stop Outlook, whatever you're doing. And I just cannot wait to see like how the whole project comes together as a whole. Very excited, Chris. Very excited. But all right, how this possibly benefits you. This is where we kind of, like, I had my moment where I was gushing about Chris being amazing and everything. And definitely go check out his YouTube, his Instagram. I'm just shouting out, like, everybody today. But what I think you can really learn from this. So when you look at other creators, I feel like you can really, like, sometimes trap yourself in this sort of box where it's like, oh, I want to be a Webtoon creator. That's all I can be. I cannot be anything else. But like you're trying with Webtoons, and like it's not resulting in what you want, or you're not being happy with what you're, creating or giving to the world. And so I feel like instead of like starting over or trying again, like do something else. Try something different and see what happens. Oh, Chris said, I'm so honored you are covering my stuff. Oh, Chris, everyone should be covering your stuff. Let's be honest. It's so good. Chris said, thank you so much. I am totally going to watch the stream back when this is over. No worries. I just appreciate you jumping into the stream live. Like, the crazy thing is you popped up when we were talking about you. Like, I'm a little fangirling over here. Like, oh, so good. So anyway, and I feel like when I saw that Chris was doing this visual novel thing, like, I know what visual novels are. I know people who've made visual novels in terms of, like, not companies. That's what I mean. So, like, individuals. Never in my wildest dreams would I ever have thought, like, a visual novel was a possibility for a small creator. And even if it is a lot of work, I can like feel the joy from like Chris making his, and it seems like it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But the thing of it is like it sparks kind of like a little bit of excitement in me to, think creatively outside of the box. What's another way that I could tell my stories, or another way I could like give my art to the world? So it's just really cool when you're following somebody, because a lot of times there's been so many times where I'm like following an artist or following a creator, and they try something in their art that I'm just like obsessed with, and it just like invigorates me to like get back into art or get back into writing. And so when you're following people like Chris, who are like really creative and trying like different avenues of storytelling or different avenues of like making their projects come to life, it can be really inspiring to you. So definitely follow creators, not just because like you like their art style or they're popular or they're famous, but follow people who like really can get your creative juices going. Like, when you look at their page, you feel inspired. And so like seeing the ability of someone, even if it's outside of your ability, you're nowhere near their like skill level, it's nice to see other options for the future. Like, I could definitely not do a visual novel right now, but maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, I could do a visual novel, or I could turn a story that I'm working on into a visual novel. Like, there's so many, like, I never knew that as a possibility for myself because I was limiting myself. So I kind of covered like all 3 points on that first point, but I would say, try and think of different ways that you can tell your story. Maybe you want to do an audiobook version of your story. Like instead of releasing like a actual like written version or a comic version, maybe you think it would be super fun to like act out like the scenes, not the scenes, the story. So maybe you write it yourself and then you feel that the best way to convey it is through you telling it like verbally out loud through a platform like YouTube or something else. Or like Chris, you have the visual novel option. Or, if you hate webtoons and you just want to be, a cowboy and do your own site and, make it the way you want, the sky is the limit. You don't just have to go with the masses. And so when I was talking about not limiting yourself, I feel like I've always limited myself. And so that's why I felt like it's really important for people, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And I feel like if I don't tell a story or I don't do something in a way that is satisfying to myself, it's not worth putting out into the world. And so a lot of times I feel like I limit myself because I hyper focus on one idea. But I think like the more I'm growing as like a storyteller, an artist, all of that stuff, that I'm really starting to find my like groove, in the sense of, one, stories can't be perfect, and two, maybe this type of storytelling isn't for me. Maybe this type of storytelling is. And so I think that that is probably like the best thing you can do, especially when you're just starting or when you're feeling like something isn't working. Maybe it's just time to take a break and try something completely different. So with that being said, I would say, I would like to know, are there any sort of storytelling ideas that you guys have in terms of that are not normal necessarily? Like, is there any way of storytelling that you found that you think is like really interesting or something you possibly might want to do in the future? Oh, hi Lee! Thanks so much for joining! Wow, where are you? What time? You said you just woke up. Well, maybe you were taking a nap. Yeah, everybody asked for the stream today to be between like 5 and 6, so I thought 5:30 was a good medium. Really happy everybody could jump on for the stream. Likely I'll go back to Fridays for streams, but I just want to say thank you to everybody who like was able to come, because I know Sundays, Sundays are Sundays. So, but going back to this, I would say I'm really going to try myself going forward to like experiment a lot more. Like, even if I feel like it's not something I can do or something that's like in my wheelhouse, I'm definitely going to try more stuff. Like, I really, really, really want to do an audiobook of some sort. Like, even if there's no printed copy of this, I feel like that would be so much fun. Because I'm a little dramatic. Oh, Southeast Asia. Oh, we are global over here. Hello. I'm waving. You can't see me waving, but I'm waving. So it's first thing in the morning. Oh, so early. Well, I'm so happy you could jump on the stream. I hope your day goes well, and I hope that you're able to like listen to the stream in the future and maybe get inspired to make something awesome. So I'm always down to like chat with you guys if I never say that. So if you guys ever just want to DM me or whatever, I try my best to like respond and make sure that I'm available to people. I really want to be more available going forward in the future. Like, I just love chatting with you guys. It's so much fun. So that was our 3 stories of the day. It was really like creator heavy in terms of like what people in the community are doing, but I feel like that's the news I really should be bringing to you guys more. I feel like there's tons of people that already bring news about like what the companies are doing, but I feel like making sure to bring attention to creators specifically is awesome. I never considered the avenue of game dev until... So Chris said this. Chris said, I never considered the avenue of a game dev until about 2 years ago, but I definitely think it's worth it to learn. the fun thing is that now it's never been easier to hop in and learn. Oh, so true. Yes, we have. I will say this, if you are interested in something, like it's so easy to like get into things yourself, like just from a hobby standpoint. Like there's so many people that make videos and so many people like that release books and stuff. Like if you want to, invest, money and stuff or just do research online, it's super cool. This is coming from a guy who is scared to code, by the way. No, Chris, listen, when I saw that, I don't know what to call them on Instagram Reel. When I saw that Instagram Reel where you were talking about like how the characters will respond and whatnot and how there'll be like visual cues, I just thought, oh man, like this guy is like in it. Like he's in it. Like he knows what he's doing. Like he's got a degree. So no, I think you're doing awesome. Like it looks very professional. By the way, Chris's link to his portfolio is in the description below. You can definitely jump on and check out like all of his amazing art and whatnot. Like hands down, like amazing. So I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like fanboying a lot over here that Chris is in my stream. I feel like there's a celebrity here. So excuse my like over the top gushing about this, but. Anyway, getting back to this. So, what I was saying more or less is I'm trying to make sure that the 3 stories are more balanced. And so I think I'll definitely really be looking for things that creators are doing that I can really comment on that will be of benefit to the community. Especially like I really want the news stream to be more positive. Like, some good news, like very positive news, that sort of vibe. And I really want you all to feel like when you come here, y'all get like some sort of benefit from watching this other than me just reporting the news to you. It doesn't bother me at all. Or if you don't like the topics that I pick, you can always submit news topics and I will cover them. So even if there's something that I missed, like let's say something big did happen this month and I completely missed it, you can like message me because shout out to Hobbyist. She's actually the one who messaged me about the series preview update. I did not, she saw it before I did. And so I made sure to include that for this month's stream. So... long story short, the news streams will continue. We'll have our next recap on what's going on at the beginning of October. So definitely come back for that. This month's creator shout out goes to Light Within Shadow. They are super supportive. They've been here on the live stream, and I always try and make sure to like pick people who are coming to the streams and whatnot, especially. Of course, sometimes I might shout somebody else out, but just to show my appreciation for you guys, I'm like, the least I can do is give you a shout out for what's going on. So with that, I guess it's, unless anybody has any questions, it's pretty much time for me to wrap up the stream. Thank you so much for jumping on, for coming to hang out with me. It was so much fun. I can't wait to do our news video again. I have other streams planned coming up. We actually have a little bit of some Webtoon tea coming up in maybe like 2 weeks. A little bit of information that I want to share with you guys. Do fans need to have an opinion about your series? And should professionals be commenting back to fans when they say something rude to them? So, yeah. We'll get into that in the future as well. So tons of fun stuff. Thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. I am over the moon about how successful the stream was, and we didn't have any technical difficulties. So, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, leave us a like, a comment, and most definitely ring the bell. A huge thank you and shout out to our patrons. If you would like to support us while getting some extra content we don't post on Instagram or YouTube, head on over and check out our Patreon. Be sure to follow us on all our social media accounts, link in the description. We're particularly active on Instagram, so if you want to chat with us, then feel free to pop on by. Alright, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!